Well, actually, I arrived at the Curtis Institute when I was 16. I I knew very few words of English. I spoke French and Italian, and I remember when I met my teacher, Rosario Scalero, I told him that I was quite frightened to be all alone in Philadelphia in a foreign country. It was my first time in America. And Scalero said, well, you know, there is another composition student here. He's only 1 year older than you are. And he does speak French and a little bit of Italian, so why don't you become friends? So he introduced us to each other. And so I spoke French with Sam. For about 2 years, we spoke only French. And for me, it was a marvelous meeting, not only because I immediately liked him and we became very intimate friends, but also because, in a certain way, Sam was also one of my composition teachers. Because in Italy, at that time, musical education was still rather primitive in a certain way. The Milan Conservatory, where I studied, did not have any teachers of any stature. And also concerts in Italy where the repertoire was very limited. For example, Brahms was very unfashionable. Nobody played Brahms at that time. I'm talking about, you know, what is 50 years ago. I mean, I don't like to count the years, but anyway, it must be about 50 years ago. Brahms was never played at any concert. He was considered a boring composer. And the way Mahler was about 20 years ago. Now Mahler has become very fashionable, and Brahms was being discovered in America first. Even in France, Brahms was never played. And so and although I knew all my operas very well because I used to go to La Scala, in symphonic music there was an awful lot that I did not know. And Brahms was one of the authors that I did not particularly liked or actually know that profoundly. Well, Brahms happened to be at that time Sam Barber's idol. He was absolutely, for him, Brahms was practically the one composer in his life. And he introduced me to Brahms. And for me, it was really quite a revelation because I didn't know that kind of music. And so then he introduced me to Lieder. You know that Sam had a beautiful voice, beautiful baritone voice. He could have easily had a career as a singer. And I don't know whether you know his recording of Dover Beach. But very few people know how beautifully he sang Lieder. Brahms and Schumann and Schubert. And although his voice was not a big one, it had a beautiful quality. He was a pupil of the Gogorza. And again, Lieder was, concerts of Lieder in Italy were very, very rare. So again, he introduced me to a whole world of Schubert and Schumann that I did not know. And for me, it was very important because in getting acquainted with Schubert's Lieder, it changed my style. For me, it was a wonderful experience. It was a charming family, and for me, certainly, it was what made me love America, because I came here and I was, as I said, I was quite lost. And then the Barber family immediately sort of adopted me, and I really consider the Barber family, I consider them as a second, my second family. I mean, I certainly, Westchester became sort of a home for me. I was known as Johnny, and my life there was very relaxed and quite wonderful. It was a very peaceful household. Sam's sister, Sarah, was a very musical, a very intelligent girl. The father and mother were not intellectuals. The father was a very quiet man. The mother adored music. She was very, very musical, but they were not especially intellectual. It's very strange because that both children, both Sarah and Sam, were intensely interested in painting, in music, but they were certainly, it was a marvelous foster family for me. One say that his music is conservative, you know, like all these condescending critics say, oh, it was good, but it's very conservative music. Yes, it is in the sense that it is music that has to be conserved, and it will be conserved. It is here to stay. Many other exciting experiments have gone by, but Sam's music now, it's part of American heritage. It will, I think it will live on. Many things will be forgotten, but certain things like, I think, Vanessa and his piano concerto, his piano sonata, I mean, there are milestones in American music.